All right. Well, welcome to the Bryan Hughes How You Doing podcast, episode 3. And today we're at the Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce with a special guest, a man that I know many times and many years, Manesh Pathak. How you doing?
I'm good, Bryan. How you doing?
Excellent. We've been talking about this for a long time.
We have.
So tell people where we are, because this is a certain room, right? We're in one of the boardrooms.
We are in one of the boardrooms that's sponsored by Tandium, and they are the naming sponsor for the
Beautiful.
boardroom for 2021 and 2022. And this is our large conference room where we hold our board meetings, events, and other seminars.
And you've rented this out a few times to other members as well, right?
We have, yeah. I mean, this room is up for rental whenever a member wants to rent it at a very, very low cost. Something that's not offered by many other organizations or some of the hotels around the area.
Now, being around and doing networking for a long time, Manesh, I've obviously been in many different chambers, and there's not many that has the space and the size of this.
Oh, yeah. Our building's about 4,000 square feet.
Wow. Now, the Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce inception was what year?
1958.
Okay, so do the math. Math wasn't my strong point, but so I'd say you're over 60 years old.
Over 60 years old, yeah.
Pretty damn good. It's a beautiful building.
Oh, thank
And
you.
there's a park right here with some water and some fish.
Yeah.
Right? So, obviously, the Chamber of Commerce, and you and I go back, since 2010?
2010, yeah.
Long time. I was a little thinner then. Still didn't have hair, but I was a little thinner then.
Well, I didn't have gray hair.
Yeah. I'll take any kind of hair at this point, you know what I mean? So obviously, you've been involved with other chambers and started out in different places, but I know you walked in here and then you got promoted, and then you've now been the executive director for how many years now?
Almost 4 years.
4 years. Wow. And you have over 1,000 members,
Yeah.
which is very big chamber. And very active. You're a very active chamber.
Yeah, we are a very active chamber. That's what we kind of pride ourselves on, is being active, being in front of the business community and the community itself.
I call this, my analogy of the chamber is a very big Cheers. Everybody knows your name, and just a lot of people know your name when you become part of the chamber.
Yeah, we consider ourselves like a big family. You're part of the family.
They adopt you and they throw you right in. Which family, but friend of ours and friend of theirs. But that's the Brooklyn. That's for another day. But you have a fairly large staff for a chamber as well. You've had people who've been here. So why don't you tell me about some of the staff?
Yeah, we have 5 employees. We have an employee that's been here for over 40 years. We have an employee that's been here for over 18 years.
Wow.
So once you kind of become part of the chamber and you're an employee of the chamber, you kind of love what you do, and it seems like the staff loves what they do, and I hope they love me as their boss, but it seems like they do.
Well, I got to say, as far as being in part of chambers, you're probably one of the youngest executive directors, probably in the country, not just Pennsylvania.
Oh, I don't know about that, but that would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, you're closer to 30 than 40, I'll tell you that much. So, all right.
In the middle.
Yeah, and I'm a half a buck. You know what I mean? I'm like, a 50-cent piece and some change. But I've got to say that I've never felt more welcome and more connected, especially, because things have, listen, let's face it, things have changed. Business have changed, right? The world has changed. But you guys did not skip a beat. So why don't you explain to some of the people that are listening, because, where they came to you when stuff was going wrong. You know what I mean? They didn't know what to do. They were lost, right? Businesses, they couldn't meet.
Yeah. I mean, right in the beginning of the pandemic in March 2020, with a flick of a switch, we had to shift our focus, obviously, from in-person to virtual. We kept that going. We quickly adapted to that. Our members adapted to that. And we also became the hub of information as well on our website, which, we planned on launching a new website. We didn't plan on launching it in March 2020.
Right.
It was in the works. However, we didn't know a pandemic was going to occur at the time. But we did launch a brand new website in March 2020, which became the hub of information for businesses. So any kind of information that was put out by the CDC, by the state, by our county, we quickly put that up for the business community and the community.
And things change so fast because one day, mask on, shut down, lockdown, open up. I mean, and you guys were right everything was up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm lucky enough to rent an office here at the Chamber, so I didn't have to go to the website, but it's a great website. You want to shout out what the website is?
Sure, www.lbccc.org.
Awesome. It is a beautiful website, and I know that you have a great graphic designer. So tell me about the rest of the staff.
So we have Susan Harkins, who's our professional development. She's also the liaison for several committees like the Keynote Breakfast Committee, the Leadership Bucks County program that we put on every year. However, unfortunately, we were not able to put it on this past year due to the pandemic. She also kind of oversees other operations as well in the chamber. Then we have Tracy Peacock. She's our marketing and digital content coordinator. So she's in charge of doing the website. Any sort of e-blast that you see coming from the chamber, that's done by Tracy. Then we have Kim Blumker. Kim Blumker is in charge of our Outlook magazine that we put out, which is a digital version now, and it's a double issue. So Kim spearheads that magazine. And then we have Jude Martin Cianfano, who's our membership director and events director.
And I've been blessed enough, like I said, to Bryan Hughes Business Connections has an office here. And I drove here from Delco, and I don't know if anybody knows where that is, but it's a little far from Brooklyn. But this is a Brooklyn accent, forget about it. But I got to tell you, for me, being able to come here and still, have some sense of normalcy during this, you know what I mean? Of course, we were all social distancing, but the fact that, we can pick up the phone, we could talk through the wall almost, with two cups like old-fashioned. But I guess the biggest distinction, right, was when you had to act quick, how was it from, the Chamber does a lot of in-person events, right? I mean, you have morning events, afternoon events, evening events, and we could talk a little bit more about that. But then it's switched off, right?
Yeah. I remember our last, at least before we went to virtual, our keynote was at the Bucks County Technical High School on March 2020. That was our last in-person keynote just until this past July.
Which went from meeting live to Zoom to back live again.
Yep.
So how did you and the staff navigate through the pandemic when everything went to Zoom?
Well, I mean, we kind of learned. There was obstacles, but we learned. We even put on several conferences via Zoom. We hired professional AV companies, so it was almost like a TV-style conferences held right here in this particular boardroom, and members were able to log on and watch a conference.
I am definitely not OCD. I'm kind of ADD, on crack. But I gotta say that even anybody who's OCD, Zoom, I mean, it was the wild, wild west in that square. I mean, it was interesting because you got to see into people's window. You know what I mean? But you were allowed to, so that was a good thing, right? So you could see people's cats, children, people getting excited. Amazon would be delivering. You know what I mean? And of course, obviously there was the old, Zoom dress code, which is much more casual.
Right.
So yes, I don't think I've taken all my jackets in, during Zoom, but it's not every day that you wear a dress shirt, a jacket, and then flip-flops and shorts,
Right.
And khakis. But yeah, it was phenomenal. So where do you see things going now? I mean, we came out of the dark days, right? I know everybody is still day by day, but right now you're back doing things live again, right?
Yeah. I mean, we Bryan, if you remember, November 2020, we did a business card exchange outdoors in 30-degree weather, and clearly our members were comfortable with that.
I remember.
It was under a tent outdoors at Makefield Highlands golf course, and remember they had the heater. We had one heater blowing, and we still had 40-something members that showed up that night.
But that was the first time 6 months, right, without seeing anybody.
Yeah.
Right. That was the first back live. Listen, I thought it was phenomenal. Everybody, it looked like the nuke from the the north. You know what I mean? I had the hood on, and everybody was huddled up, and but it was phenomenal. Now we're gonna go for a commercial break and talk about shameless plug time on that awkward pause. So this part of the segment is sponsored by Bryan Hughes Business Connections. So that's Bryan Hughes Business Connections, www.bryanhughes.biz. So that's BRYANHUGHES.biz, biz. And our tagline is not who you know, it's who knows you. So that's how we're here now. So thank you very much. We got a lot of events, and we got some cool networking groups. And thanks to the Chamber of Commerce, I have learned so much about business and relationships and people. Because at the end of the day, what the Chamber does best, it builds relationships, and they last forever. You know what I mean? It's anybody could do business, right? But you got to have that rapport, right? And that takes time, right? Because people think they join a chamber, right? And like the money's just supposed to roll in. You got to work, right?
Yeah, you have to work for it. You have to work for it. Well, what you put in is what you'll get out of it.
Earn people's trust, right?
Earning people's trust. Yep. Them getting to know you.
What I like the fact is that there's so many opportunities to learn and grow. Like you have a leadership program. So tell us about some of the things that, that differentiate you from a lot of other organizations.
Well, I mean, we put on different type of events. Certainly different type of events. Like we have, the business card exchanges where it's just casual networking, exchanging cards and getting to know one another. Then we have the morning keynotes, which are educational. Then we have a government committee that advocates for businesses, which committee meets every month. And then, of course, we have some fun events, like our annual golf outing. We even did, in the past, food tasting events. We do an expo. This past year, we did a pet expo and a home show outdoors. Awesome. So I think there's plenty of different events for everyone.
And the great thing is that whether you're a small entrepreneur who just started out looking for guidance, or you're a seasoned, I mean, you have some heavy hitters without going into the details. You've got everybody who's like, hey, I just got my first business card, all the way to like seasoned professionals with multiple layers of employees.
Oh yeah. We have small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and large businesses that are some of the large businesses have over 2,000 employees.
Wow, that's incredible. So tell us a little bit about Manesh, the person outside the chamber.
Well, I like to think of myself as a fun, fun family man. I have 2 girls, a 5-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter, plus my wife as well, and we have a dog as well, Rio, who's 7 years old.
And I gotta say, beautiful family.
Okay.
I have met them all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we have a commonality: fish. Right? You got your first fish tank for your girls, right?
Yeah.
And there was a thinner catfish, right? And then it was a heavier catfish. And this is pre-pandemic Bryan, the catfish, and then it was after pandemic. So the catfish grew with me. So hopefully, we'll get that skinny fish down, and I will as well. But the girls love it, right?
Oh yeah, they love their aquarium, and they think of you every time they see it.
That it's funny. I've been raising fish since I was 10, and fish tails, I can go on forever. But I remember just my dad buying me my first fish tank and like going in, and that's a pretty exciting time for you know what I mean? Picking out the fish, right?
Oh yeah,
the girls love it, right?
They love it when we go to the pet store. Oh yeah.
And the cutest dog, right?
Oh yeah, he's great.
So family's good, right?
Family's good.
Beautiful.
Family's good, healthy. Nothing more I can ask for.
So what's next, do you think, for the future? Do you think that we'll go back to Zoom? What's the indication you're getting? I mean, right now you got events scheduled live through what, November, December?
Till the end of the year.
Beautiful.
Yep, until the end of the year. We have several large events, large signature events coming up. What we're asking our members is, regardless of vaccination status, mask up at our events. Doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, please wear a mask regardless. We want to continue holding these events in person for our members. We try not to go back to Zoom. So if we can do our best, that's what we'd like to do.
And I remember, and that's great news to hear. I remember, again, going back to the pandemic, because I'm going to kind of go back and forth, because there was a time where, the county and the chamber was the hub for businesses to come out and get some of the pandemic supplies, right? Which was a gun, mask, all that.
Temperature gun.
That's what it was, right? All right, not that type of gun. So James handed out guns. No, 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 we'll have none of that. No, but yeah, the temperature gun was huge, and actually, you used that at some of the events as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, the county did a great job obtaining, I want to say, over 1,000 PPE kits, and then they distributed it to all the chambers in the county. And then the chambers reached out to its members, letting them know that we have these PPE kits, which contained hand sanitizer, masks, the temperature thermometer gun, um, wipes, gloves, all of that. A nice little care package for businesses that couldn't find this stuff in stores.
No, because it wasn't out there. Because in the beginning, it just, obviously it went to the people that needed it on the front lines. But to keep businesses open, they had to be protected and safe.
Yeah, and I'm proud to say that the Little Bucks County Chamber of Commerce, we handed out 400 PPE kits.
Wow, that's phenomenal. And I know you do a lot about giving back to the community, right? Like, tell us about, speaking of committee, right, and community, because they go hand in hand. You're very community driven and committee driven, right? Which also goes back to the nonprofits. So take us through, like, because people think, because when I first came out here doing business development back in the day when we knew each other, we worked in different jobs, but actually we were partners in the financial industry back in 2010. So we have a long history of doing together business. And when I first got into business development, I was very intimidated with the chamber, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what the function was. I'm from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? There's like a bagel store every, 3 feet, and pizzerias, and every pizzeria is named Ray's. It was Ray's the first, Ray's the second, you know what I mean? There was Henry the Eighth, but then there was Ray the Third in pizza. Great pizza, by the way. Benson, shout out to the OGs over to Verrazano. But out here, I didn't know what to go, so it can be intimidating, so kind of take me through the process, when a member joins and how you get them acclimated.
Yeah, so on member joins, we have an ambassador committee. And our ambassadors, what they basically do is once a new member joins, we distribute that list to our ambassadors. They make the initial welcome call. After, of course, the chamber staff does, the ambassador then makes the welcome call. And then we try to team up the new member with an ambassador at a business card exchange or a keynote breakfast meeting, and then kind of walk them through and navigate them with networking and meeting potential clients.
No, it's amazing. Because I know for me, I'm very shy. You know what I mean? I'm a little nervous.
You
around
are?
people, a little bit. Forget about it. You know what I mean? But it can be intimidating when someone who doesn't really know and they walk into a room, and that's why it's so welcoming. The ambassadors they're the welcome wagons. They make sure that that person's not left alone in the corner. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people know each other for a long time. I mean, if a chamber's been around for 60 years, obviously there's a lot of I would say repeat membership or loyalty and longevity, right? There's a lot of longevity, and but for someone new, that could be kind of overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I mean, and not know anybody.
Yeah, and I can see that. I can give you an example. When I was a member here of this chamber, back when we were partnered together through the company
Really?
you worked with and the company I worked
Wow,
for
that long.
at the time, back in 2010. And I remember going to my first business card exchange, standing in the corner. I had no idea what to do. That was my first experience with networking. And of course, my boss challenged me a little bit. She said, what I want you to do is, here's your homework for today for this business networking event. I want you to go collect 20 cards, 20 business cards. So I did it. It was a little tough, but I will say I did have an ambassador there, a chamber ambassador at the time, also assisting me with introducing me to people.
It's like a lifeline. They're like, you know what I mean? It's like they walk you through, they guide you. You know what I mean? They're like, you feel like you're lost in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
When you don't know anybody, because it's like everybody knows everybody. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and I can say our staff does a great job with that as well. When we see a member that's kind of shy, we'll go up to them if an ambassador is unavailable, and try to pull them in and try to introduce them to a few folks.
I've been involved in other chambers, and again, I'm biased because I happen to be blessed to be on the board. I'm very honored to be on the board of directors of the Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce. But it's a privilege. You know, it's something that you whether it doesn't matter if you're on the board or you're on a committee. I was involved. I also on the business card exchange committee, which is phenomenal. The business card exchange committee. I call it the fun committee because it's usually in the evenings, and people had a long day of work, and we go to great locations, and just people get to unwind and just learn, and mingle and create relationships because that's how business is done. It takes time. You gotta do one-on-ones like we're doing. So when people say you're doing a podcast, what is Bryan Hughes? How you doing? What is that? It's pretty much a one-on-one that's being filmed, right? Because I think at the end of the day, people don't even know how to do that because it's easy to go to an event, maybe not, as we discussed, right? It's either you can show up at the event, but what do? You get the business card. What do you do then? It's I call it the FU, follow up.
Follow up. Yeah.
It's huge because, I mean, you can get the business card, but what do you do with it? You have to, just say, hey, you got to, go for coffee, do Zoom, you know what I mean? It could be a phone call. Because I think the biggest thing is being just, if you meet someone and they're just trying to sell you right off the bat, you know what I mean? Like you get this generic email, and it's about relationships because no one's going to open their book of business until they build that rapport. And sometimes it's synergy, sometimes it's a need. I know a lot of times, when I have to look into my back pocket of, nope, who do I need, And I look in the wallet and I say, all right, there's that business card, and I call you up and I say, listen, I'm looking for this service. You know what I mean? Because I know that everybody that's part of the chamber has almost been vetted in a way. You know what I mean? Like it's almost, the reputation is stellar. The people are stellar. You know what I mean? They're committed to help each other. And that's why being on the board, it's making great impacts. I mean, you've got great board people. I mean, tell us a little bit about the board and, their function.
Yeah, I mean, we have 22 board members, including yourself, and it ranges from small, medium to large businesses. So they're representing their companies. We encourage board members to try to come out as much as they can as well. We understand that they have their own jobs, full-time jobs, but our board does dive in. I've belonged to other chambers as well through my previous career, and I've worked at another chamber before as well, and I've never seen a board this active compared to the other chambers that I was either a part of or worked for.
No, I think they're phenomenal. Every member, and it's something that you can get as much involved as you want with the chamber or as little. You know what I mean? But I would say get involved.
Yeah, I would say get involved. I mean, we even tell new members, we don't want you to join if you're not going to be involved.
Right.
If you're not going to come out to events, don't just write us a check for no reason. If you're going to write us a check, come on out. Come on out to the events.
And the biggest thing is the opportunity, because if people have kids, sometimes mornings are not good, you know what I mean? Because, they're taking kids to school. Some people, lunches, they can get away. So you have variety, whether it's morning, lunch, evenings, and weekends, right? You've done weekend events.
We've done a
right?
couple of weekend events, yeah.
Yeah, I think the pet outing was a weekend, right?
Right, the home and pet show was an outdoor Saturday event.
And the reason I asked about the board of directors, because this way you could tell me what my job description is. So I appreciate it. So which is awesome. What's next for as far as the big events coming up that we can share with everybody listening?
We have our signature Champions of Commerce event. That's in November, and that's that's a unique event. That's actually one of my favorite events, and that's because we have several categories. Like, for instance, we have a nonprofit champion of commerce. We have a young professional champion of commerce. We have a economic workforce champion of commerce. So there's different categories and different winners. And how the winners are selected is people nominate these businesses for these particular categories, and then we have a committee that makes a selection on, okay, this is our winner for this year for this particular category. So it's a great awards ceremony to honor what these businesses have done in these particular categories over the past year.
I got to tell you, I was lucky enough to go to the last one we had before the pandemic, right? It was 2019. And I was nominated for Entrepreneur Spirit Award.
That's correct.
And I won, you know what I mean? Which was like, and I got to tell you, it was such a great event. And it was a phenomenal honor. You know what I mean? I didn't take it lightly. And, it's, you know what I mean? It's an award, because, Blockbuster, I won my first Braveheart award. You know what I mean? That's, remember the Blockbuster guy?
Yeah.
So that's because I had to go clean out the Blockbusters. I was like the wolf from Pulp Fiction. You know what I mean? It was a bad store. I'd go in there. I'm like, yeah, this staff's out like the lights. So, but that was my job to take them out in body bags. Not literally, but, but it was fun. But when I went to that award, and I guess some of the members of my organization were there, and actually I think we got 2 tables. And I remember, like, I haven't cried or choked up since E.T., you know what I mean? Because first I'd have to give up my Brooklyn card, you know what I mean? It wouldn't let me back into New York. But that was a very special moment. And it wasn't about winning the award. It was about the people that were there to support me and acknowledge that I won. So, again, it's all about, building relationships and take care of people. And that's what you guys do better than anybody else as far as in this realm. And I've learned, because I do a lot of networking, you know what I mean? And, I come for guidance here. And, it's like you want to be that guy or that gal, right? Because let's say you're in banking, you're in finance. It doesn't matter what your industry is, right? So you may be the best landscaper, right? And that's good, and that's a great thing to know. You know everything to know about landscaping. It was phenomenal. I just, I'm horrible at stuff. I'm good at breaking stuff, but I haven't found a job's going to pay me to break stuff on purpose. But I'm working on it. But what I could say is that when you make connections, then all of a sudden you build your own book of business. When you're taking care of your clients, they'll say, he's out there, this great landscaper, and he's making a beautiful mulch display, right, or whatever they do. I don't know. There's like one tree in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? So we didn't need a landscaper, but it's an important thing. But the thing is that when you're part of the chamber, you make those connections. So then you meet a banker, then you meet an attorney, and then you cultivate those relationships. So you're hanging out with one of your clients as, I'm pretending I'm a landscaper because, it's like on Zoom, you can be anybody you want. I only play a doctor on Zoom. So I'm a landscaper, and I'm hanging out, and they ask me, do you know a good bank? Or, this bank, I lost my card, or I don't know what to do, or my son needs advice. And, I got a guy, I got a gal. So you become that referral source. So not just are you an excellent landscaper, now you are a walking referral, you know what I mean, for people in the community, that people will now go to you for all these things. And that's what the chamber brings to businesses.
Yeah.
That's my thought, you know what I mean? That's why I rented a spot here.
Yeah, and it's not just B2B. We get phone calls from just, homeowners, regular homeowners, or just the community itself, just calling in saying, hey, is there a plumber that you have a connection with, or is there a contractor, is there an electrician, an attorney, a doctor, you name it. We get all those phone calls.
Right. And most people think, that B2B, but, even B2C, those people can own businesses as well. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So with people, it's only B2B, but everybody could be a customer or a client or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
And I think one thing I got to say that I love about the Lubbock County Chamber of Commerce is you guys know how to have fun. You know what I mean? Because I think the biggest thing is you guys are very professional, very organized, very structured. The educational piece, you add the educational piece, the camaraderie, the relationships, but you also got to have fun. People forget that it's okay to laugh. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that deep. You know what I mean? But again, I think that you got to get involved, and it's okay to ask for help. I think that's another thing, is because businesses, because you go to a card exchange. How you doing? Phenomenal, crushing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is good, because there are people crushing it. But it's not easy to, I guess, drop the mask. You know what I mean? Because I know for me, asking for help is tough. But if you leave your ego at the door and you really want to help people, that's what I love about running Bryan Hughes Business Connections, because I think it's a great outlet. Because I know when people join my organization, I can't. It's limited. It's nothing to do with the chamber. It's a different type of. It's a business consulting agency. But the greatest thing to do is I get to funnel them up and say, look, you know, this is a good place to learn. You know, this is a good place to practice your commercial, be a better public speaker, and business gets played. But I also think that you could actually be part of a bigger picture. So I think that what I've learned is that people are like so intimidated about anybody that's doing the same thing. I was guilty of that too, as well. You know, when someone was like, "Oh, there's another." When I was in an industry, I'll say, "Nerf herder." I was a nerf herder and an ant farmer back in the day. I'm like, another nerf herder and ant farmer. And like, but why would you be upset? Because that person may know so much more. They could be a mentor. You could mentor them, and you could actually commiserate and actually champion each other and partner. So I think that when people say industry specific, you know, it's okay. You know, you actually keep up with the trends. So I think there's something to be said that there's enough slices in the pie for everybody. And that's as deep as I get it. Like, 4:02 on a Friday, right?
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Almost. So I can babble, as you could tell. That's my Brooklyn babbling. What would you like to get out there, about the chamber that we didn't discuss in this last few minutes?
Well, I just want to say that the Chamber of Commerce, we're here. We're here for the entire county. I mean, we have members in Bucks County. We have members in New Jersey. We have members in PA. We have members, in New York. And there's a reason why they're members of this chamber is because we are here. We didn't go anywhere throughout the pandemic. We've been here, and we're going to continue to be here for our members and the business community.
You guys like literally adopted me. You know what I mean? Like, like that's what happens when, you let someone in. Sometimes they won't leave. You got those members that, I can also call members on the weekends, on nights, their cell numbers, and they get right back to you like that,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was talking to another member just earlier this week, and they said, "Oh, I had lunch with so and so, who's also a member," and then, "Oh yeah, our families got together, and had play dates." That's what it's about.
Right.
Like I said, you're part of the family here. You get to know each other personally, and obviously the business relationship, but you become long time friends.
And it's like not everybody has a need at a certain time. You know what I mean? So you always cultivate the relationship because just because you don't have a need now doesn't mean that 2 years down the road that you won't use them.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think when people just try to force it, there has to, and like for me, the biggest thing is you got to learn what the other person does, right? Because no one wants to be sold. But it's okay to ask for business, but you just got to find the right time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Timing is everything.
Grow that relationship.
Right. What's the business cards are coming back or what?
I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of the phones coming out and scanning the phones, the QR codes.
Yes, well, from LinkedIn, right? A lot of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I think that there's plenty of people that have my cards. I know I've given them so many. When I run out, I just know I may have to call someone to get them back.
I think I might have 12 in my office.
So, you have any funny stories that happened with business cards? Since we're on that topic,
All I can say is I've seen them all.
you've seen them all,
Seen
right?
all types of business cards: metal, wooden, 2x2 business cards.
Yeah.
I've seen ones that are 8 inches by 8 inches,
Like billboards,
like
right?
billboards, like mini billboards. Yeah.
You can put them in your suit jacket, right? I think the funniest snafu is I'd always say like 3 things happened to me with business cards, like over the years. Like first thing was someone would give me back my business card. You know what I mean? Or they would give me a business card with handwriting on them. Or sometimes they'd give me someone else's business card. So
Someone's handed me a credit card accidentally.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That has not happened to me. So, all right. Offline, you could tell me who that person is and introduce me to them. That would be great to make a connection.
Yeah.
I got to say thank you very much for all your time. Thank you so much, Manesh. I appreciate you being on How You Doing with Bryan Hughes. I would love to have you back and see what goes on for 2022.
Yeah, almost there. We're
No,
almost
it's
there.
around the corner,
All
right?
around the corner.
So I guess it's coming into the holiday times, right? Holiday events as well, right?
Holiday events, a lot of food.
So I gotta say, we throw some good parties to Chamber and Bryan Hughes Business Connections, you know. And that's another thing is that you support other businesses.
We do, yeah.
You know, you go to their events, you do ribbon cuttings as well, right? Ribbon cuttings, huh?
Ribbon cuttings did one, did several this month.
Those scissors are pretty big.
Scissors are big. We have two of them.
You have two of them.
Two large scissors.
That's awesome. Can never go for some of those business cards. You may have to cut up to put in your pocket, right? So Manesh, Executive Director of Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce, strongly recommend come and visit the website, come to an event, because you can actually visit complimentary, right?
Yeah.
Two
yeah.
events.
We'll welcome non-members to come and check us out.
All right, so don't forget, Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce, Manesh Pathak, Executive Director. Bryan Hughes out. Have a great day.